Lockdown hair. Well, I will get it cut when this lockdown ends. If you're not watching this during the coronavirus outbreak pandemic, then that's great. But obviously, at the moment, when at the time of recording this, it's coronavirus. I'm in the UK, we're locked down, so I have got really long, horrible hair. I need a bit of a shave. I'm a bit sort of like I've just been out for a big walk as well, which doesn't help. For my daily exercise. So, so why am I doing this blog? I suppose I should get onto that. It's another poem. Now, this poem I wrote a couple of months ago before we went into lockdown in the UK. It was before everything went completely crazy, but when it was starting to go a bit crazy. Now, as you know, I'm a teacher, so I went on a school trip to Italy, and I went to Venice. And one of the first places in Europe when there was really big problems was in Italy, near Venice. So when I came back, I didn't have to be tested or anything. Everything was okay, but I had 2 weeks, and if I developed any symptoms in 2 weeks, I then had to self-isolate. Well, I developed some symptoms of a cold, a bit of tightness of breath, a bit of coughing, tiredness, that sort of thing, bunged up nose as well. Now, I knew my family had been ill whilst I'd been away, my children and my wife, so I knew it was that. But I phoned 111, I phoned the NHS helpline, and they told me to self-isolate. So I was stuck for about 5 days in my bedroom while my kids were off to school or nursery. My wife was doing all the chores and going out and doing shopping and things like that. And I was stuck in my room and I couldn't come out. And then there was one point where my daughter opened the door, looked in and said, "Daddy, I want to cuddle." And I had to turn her away, and it kind of broke my heart a bit. So I wrote a poem called Isolation about the event. So I'm going to read that to you now. It's not very upbeat, I won't lie to you. It's one of my more serious poems, clearly. I don't do that many serious ones. Here it is. This is Isolation. And it goes like this. I wanted some free time to do the things I like, but this is what I got. Isolation. I needed some space away from my family, but this is what I got. Isolation. I wanted to clear my head, reorder my thoughts, but this is what I got. Isolation. I wanted to read that book in the sun or under the stars, but this is what I got. Isolation. I wanted to leave work just for a day or two, but this is what I got. Isolation. I wanted to make a list, all I needed to do, but this is what I got. Isolation. Now I sit on my own, hearing voices outside, because this is what I got. Isolation. I can sense their presence, but I cannot touch, because this is what I got. Isolation. I can see the sun, watch the wind, but not feel it on my face, because this is what I got. Isolation. All I want is some human contact, someone to hold in my arms, but this is what I got. Isolation. I thought I wanted space, yet now all I crave is freedom, because this is what I got. Isolation. Though I have books, TV, games, I still sit here and stare. When will this end? Isolation. So hopefully that gives you some idea of how I felt during the time. I'm not saying I'm a martyr or anything, because I'm not. It's just, I suppose, adding to that bulk of kind of social history that's going on around COVID-19 and coronavirus and the lockdowns and everything that's going on. And maybe you felt a bit similar. Maybe you are feeling a bit similar. I mean, I got tested in those 5 days I was in isolation. Obviously, I got tested because I would have been for 14 if I hadn't, or at least 7. And I was clear. I was fine. And now, we've been in lockdown at the time of recording about 9 weeks now. I can't remember. I'm losing track of time. I've been teaching from home, and things are starting to ease, but it's not always easy, kind of being stuck with everyone being frustrated and stressed and tired. But yeah, it will be all right. And be thankful for the NHS, the health workers, for people working in supermarkets, for delivery drivers, all those sort of people who've really, really helped out. In fact, They do clapping for key workers, some people say. And my wife was saying the other day, clapping for key workers, and it's like clapping for daddy. Because she was saying that to my kids. Daddy's a teacher, so he's a key worker. But I don't feel like one because I've been at home. Whereas other people have been out in the real world, kind of dealing with this. But yeah, it can feel mentally draining and tiresome, and mental health issues staying at home as well. So hopefully there's a resonance in that poem. Sorry, it's another bad poem because I'm not that good at poetry. But hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you want to read any more of my poetry, if you click in the description, there's a link down there to my poetry collection, Bad Poetry You Probably Never Want to Read. If you never want to hear another poem from me again, I would just steer clear of that and this sort of YouTube channel. Anyway, I've prattled on for long enough, so stay safe, and it'll all be over soon.